Here we go.
And then like top shelf left is wrong. Make sure you're grabbing the right ones. Hey everybody, welcome to Sports Shorts Daily, presented by LeBear's Casino. Ronnie Rance alongside Tommy Chrysan over here at the TK. Join us from Tremonti's Meat Seafood. I'm in the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame offices, and we're presented by LeBear's Casino. A little afternoon Friday edition of Sports Shorts Daily. As TK is moving, he's going to give us send us a video of his new house. He's getting moving into a new house. And, he's Mr. Mover the last couple of days, so we doing it here this afternoon, and it's probably a good thing we are doing it this afternoon because had we done it this morning like we normally do, the news would not have broken that Joe Burrow is now out for the season with the Cincinnati Bengals. And in the AFC, where there's a 2-game difference that differentiates the number 1 seed and like 12 teams in the conference, and you're fighting for playoffs. And right now, the Bengals find themselves 5-5 or whatever. And without Joe Burrow, it looks like playoffs are not going to be a thing for them, especially in the division that they're in, where the Ravens and the Browns and the Steelers are all better than them. But big news. And the bigger news, Tommy, is not that Joe Burrow got hurt and he's out for the year. We know he had the calf strain earlier this year. But the big news is, and we'll find out more in the coming days, he looked like he was hurt before the game. There was video of him with a brace on his wrist that the team kind of put out this video of the players getting off the bus. They didn't realize that in the video there was a picture of him with the brace on his wrist. As soon as that started hitting them social media and people started saying, hey, what's that brace on his wrist before the game, they deleted the post. If all of a sudden there's some shenanigans involved from a standpoint of, hey, he was hurt and he shouldn't have played, maybe the players union gets involved, maybe, this could be a bigger deal than just Joe Burrow being out for the year.
Well, and the NFL is investigating why he might not have been on the list. Now, NFL does this a lot on that. There's a mandatory reporting stuff of injuries. That's mandatory by the league, all 32 teams. And every week they look at some things like this. However, what was pointed out, the penalty can be a significant fine or a loss of a draft pick if it was deemed to be, malicious or intent, or they, way off the rule book. They can actually lose a draft pick, probably a 4th, 5th, 6th rounder, but still lose a draft pick. So, that's the big story. And, of course, it's his right hand. That's his throwing hand, right? Joe Burrow's been in the NFL 4 years. Twice he's been injured to miss the rest of the season. Had the knee back earlier in his career, and now he's got the right wrist, obviously the throwing wrist. And, there's a ligament in there. He couldn't even hold a football without it dropping after he fell on it. When he went to the sideline, he tried to throw a pass. That looked like a kindergarten kid throwing it, and then he couldn't hold the football. So it's a significant injury. Surgery, I think, like today or tomorrow. Like, it's not going to be like sometimes the surgery is like 2 weeks later. No, they're getting in there now. So it's unfortunate for the Bengals. And, Ryan, they went into the season without a experienced backup, playing the salary cap game and all that. So now they're going to have to turn to Browning, who I think went to Washington a few years ago. And, he's not an experienced backup, as opposed like Saints had Jameis Winston as a backup. They don't have somebody with that kind of experience, but they're going to have to go in a tough division, and their year's done. They won't be in the postseason.
It's sort of a shame, 2 of the top 5 quarterbacks in the league and arguably one of the top 10 quarterbacks in the league. We can talk about Aaron Rodgers and Joe Burrow, bam, out for the year, and then what effect that has. Both those teams likely not to make the playoffs, the Jets or the Bengals now. And then, Kirk Cousins and the Vikings, that's, a top 10 quarterback in the NFL. And then it turns out that, at least for now, they've caught lightning in a bottle. And Dobbs, who's been, Cousins had gotten that team turned around. Jefferson was out with an injury and all that. Cousins got the team turned around, got him on a win streak. He gets hurt. Dobbs jumps in there, and all of a sudden now they're keeping the train rolling. So my Vikings look like a playoff team, but injuries are a giant part of the game. They are the difference between being a playoff team and not being a playoff team, being a championship playoff team and just a team that gets into the playoffs. And no better example than that. Look at Tom Brady, during their run with the Patriots for nearly 20 years, the year that he was hurt, the year that he got hurt, the game 2 of the season or whatever, even though they finished with a winning record, they didn't make the playoffs. And they were really good before, really good after. It's just when you miss that guy, when you miss that frontline, top 10 NFL quarterback, that is a league that I don't care how good your backup is, it just doesn't really make a difference.
Yeah, I mean that's what they got to do now, and those teams are going to pay the prices. Also, with Deshaun Watson out for the year for the Browns, they weren't going anywhere, and he's a train wreck.
He's been playing hurt all year, but the Browns have been having a good season.
Yeah, so their defense is pretty good. Yeah, one of the better defenses in the league. So, hey, like you said, Ronnie, injuries are part of the game. All sports, all levels. I mean, it happens, and the teams that can overcome that or have quality backups or guys step up and produce more than somebody might have thought they would. That's what it's going to take down the stretch for those teams to try to get in the playoffs. That's what it's all about in the NFL.
A couple of national news stories. Michigan. Last week, Harbaugh was on a plane about this time last Friday, and while he was on the plane, he finds out he's going to be suspended for the rest of the year by the Big Ten over the regular season games. Lawsuit, injunctions. They're filing everything of the attorneys for Michigan. They're supposed to have a hearing and all today. And what happened?
They withdrew all of the illegal litigation against the Big Ten, and they fired their linebacker coach because obviously they must have evidence or facts that he was involved in this thing in some way, shape, or form. Ronnie, the NCAA is still doing their investigation. Some people speculate it'd be a huge fine and more a fine also personally to Harbaugh. There's some saying that Michigan will fire Harbaugh. This isn't a lack of institutional control, especially on the heels of him lying to the NCAA 7-8 months ago about buying a kid a hamburger. I don't care if it's buying a hamburger. He lied to the investigators, okay? So this could be it for Harbaugh at Michigan. I don't know how Michigan can keep him with this, repeated not knowing what's going on. Like we've said, he's wrong either way. If he had absolutely no idea that was happening, he's wrong because he should have known, like Louisville at Patino with the hookers for the recruits. And if he knew it and just kind of said, oh, okay, look, I'm going to act like I didn't see that. Because, I mean, we said it weeks ago, where there's smoke, there's fire. Well, there's a lot of fire here, and it'll be curious to see how it plays out. Will they put him in the playoff? Will they, there's a lot of layers here. And Michigan, there are many programs just saying, Dan Patrick, Jim Harbaugh's a cheater. The Michigan football team has cheated. So did the Astros in baseball a few years ago. I guess they got on the other side of that for the most part. So it'll be interesting to see what the NCAA does, especially because Michigan's, projected to, especially if they beat Ohio State, to be in the playoffs and maybe win a national championship. Who knows? And I've never been a fan of Michigan. I've never been a fan of Harbaugh. So personally, I hope they drop the hammer on him.
What about Harbaugh, I guess, irritates you so much that you don't like him?
Even at Stanford, he was always pushing the envelope with doing the right thing or not. There was a kid from Baton Rouge that went and played out there, got there, were recruited by Harbaugh. By the time he got there, Harbaugh wasn't there. And that kid's father told me some stuff that, this guy he was a shady character, Jim Harbaugh. And it's a good friend of mine whose kid I'm talking about. So, I just don't like the khaki pants and, I don't know, just, some people might think he's great. I don't know, but, it's like some people like chocolate ice cream, some like vanilla. I don't like Jim Harbaugh, and I've never liked Michigan, and I don't like the Big Ten. So, I don't know. That's it.
He's definitely a strange character, and I've told the story many times. I dealt with him about 25 years ago when the Super Bowl was in New Orleans, and it was a weird guy, but he's clearly going to be out at Michigan, whether he leaves on his own, whether they fire him. The question is, do you believe it's an automatic done deal that he's going to be a head coach in the NFL next year?
He may have to serve some penalty there because they did that to Jim Tressel from Ohio State.
But why did they do that to Jim Tressel? There's no legal, the law of the United States.
They did it to pat on the back to the NCAA, y'all suspended this guy. And Tressel was only going into a front office job with the Colts at that time. And I think there was another coach that they made sit out a couple games somewhere. I think that's just kind of like they don't want it to be a getaway for a coach that makes a severe mistake like Harbaugh has made. Okay, well, but Pete Carroll, same thing at USC. As soon as all them sanctions were getting ready to come down, he went to the NFL. And then that's when the Bush Heisman Trophy was taken away, and all of that stuff got proven to be, accurate. And there's been a few other coaches that left because they knew stuff was coming down the pipe, against the NCAA.
I gotta believe Harbaugh gets a job in the NFL right away. He's a Super Bowl coach.
Head coach job? Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he took a team to the Super Bowl with Colin Kaepernick at quarterback. He won the whole time he was in the league. And he's a different kind of guy, but he's won in college, he's won in the pros, he's got the heritage with his dad, with his, with his brother. I mean, like, it's the lineage and all that. So I think as quirky as he is, and I think that's really the word, he's just super quirky, it works. And so hey, NFL teams have rolling the dice on 40-year-old coaches that we never even heard of, right now, that just happen to be on a team that won last year, and they're taking a chance on them being a head coach. I tell you what, I'd rather Jim Harbaugh than Dennis Allen. I mean, straight up.
Yeah. No, I think he'll get a job, because this is it. If there's an NFL team that thinks he can lead them to a Super Bowl, they're not going to care about the sign stealing at Michigan or lying about the hamburger to the recruit or pushing the envelope at Stanford. That doesn't matter. Just like these players who have they don't care that Alvin Kamara got in a fight in Las Vegas. They care. The Saints care. Can Kamara help us win football games? And that's what it'll be viewed in Harbaugh. And you're right. There's so much turnover in the NFL. What, 33% of the league gets a new head coach every year. On in that ballpark, 9, 10, 11, 12 coaches change each year. It's just the landscape of the game. So I would think if he wants a shot in the NFL, he's going to get it. But, and Michigan may go to him and say, okay, look, we're going to try to save you a little face here. If you want, you can get a deal with an NFL team. You can resign and go there instead of us firing you. If they fire him for cause, then they don't have to pay him. So I don't know. We'll see.
LSU tomorrow, purple jerseys, white helmets. That'll be what they wear against Georgia.
Gold helmets.
No, they're going white helmets this week.
I knew purple jerseys. Yeah.
Yeah, they're doing the white helmets. They put on social media last night, showed them making the white helmets. What's your favorite combination? Your favorite alternate combination outside the traditional yellow helmets, gold helmets, and white jerseys?
There's no question in my mind. The white helmet, white jersey, white pants. They did that against Auburn a couple of years ago. I thought it looked classy, sharp. The white shoes. Hal Mummy always believed in white shoes because it made guys look quicker on tape. When the other team was scouting them. It made them look quicker than they might have really been. So that's without question the white helmet, white jersey, white pants. That's my favorite. And have they done it since they did it to Auburn? Didn't they do that again one game?
They've done it a few times, I think.
Okay.
I don't remember.
That's my favorite. That's my personal favorite.
Yeah. I enjoy the alternates, I mean, and I like the tradition that they have the white jerseys home and away, and, unless they get in a situation where they can't, and then they usually just change it up a couple times a year when they play a non-Power 5 school, or they play a lesser opponent or something like that. But I enjoy all the different creative touches that they've done over the years, whether it be the purple helmets or whether they've been purple pants and all that kind of stuff. Had gold jerseys and purple pants and all that, white helmets back in the day, But I agree with you that whiteout look is really, really nice. Kind of like with the Bengals, when their whiteout look is fire.
Well, and the other thing about it, the players like all that alternate jersey stuff. Plus it sells a little more merchandise, but the players enjoy it. That's today's player want. Hey, we're gonna wear that gold. Now that purple they wore in the dome years ago against Tulane, that was the wrong shade of purple. Somebody might have pushed the wrong button when they ordered those. But no, it's all about the players. And if those players, going to say, "Hey, coach, man, we need to mix it up a little bit." Now I think LSU's like a handful of schools that aren't going to go to the black, not going to go camo, like some schools do. But my favorite line about uniforms that just popped in my head. Somebody told Nick Saban once that, hey, University of Oregon's got over 100 different uniform combinations. Saban said, around here, we care about who's wearing. We got red at home, white on the road, and we worry about who's wearing the uniform, not what the uniform looks like. He's taking a little shot at Oregon.
Exactly
But
right.
he's right.
Look,
They care about who's wearing it, not
yeah,
anything else.
but it put Oregon on the map. I mean, nobody knew anything about Oregon football or cared about Oregon football until they started. Nike got behind them and started giving all the different combinations, and it helped get them better players and made them relevant. LSU basketball, they win today. They over North Texas. They go 2-2. They lost yesterday. They had a 15-point lead in the second half against Dayton, and then they lose on another last-second shot that made with like 4 seconds to go. They need to maybe work on their three-point perimeter defense when they get, in these situations, back-to-back games, Nichols and Dayton, where they lose literally look like the same way. This is just not a good LSU basketball team. And talking with somebody that's close to the program and a booster and a donor and someone that knows the inner workings of the program, bottom line is that, they've got about an NIL pot of around $1 million. Their coaching staff feels like they need about $2 million to get the players that they need. And somehow the coaching staff's not getting it done. They're not going and getting the money. You got to help yourself a little bit. And they just don't have the Jimmies and the Joes. And McMahon's in year 2. I know year 1, he kind of gets a hall pass because he inherited absolutely nothing. Everybody had left. He literally had no scholarship players. But this just doesn't look like it's going to get turned around this year. And, I'm sure LSU will give him year 3, but this is just not a good start.
No, it's not. And there are so many new players. And in basketball, baseball, you could stick that new guy at left field. Stick a guy at second base and it can mesh pretty quickly because they kind of know what to do when. Basketball is a little bit different with, when you got 5 pieces to the puzzle and you put 5 of them that don't know, that quarter awareness thing of each other. Yeah, it takes a little time for that to happen. And, the other teams aren't going to feel sorry for LSU. They're gonna lay it on them. I think it'll be a long SEC season for the Tigers.
Yes, it shall, and it will. LSU football, by the way, 32-point favorite against Georgia State. You got an opinion? Somebody wants to lay some coins on it? What are you thinking?
I already laid some coins when it was 31. It's going to be like 62 nuts on me, okay? And the over and under 73.5. So they're thinking LSU scoring 55 points.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I'm thinking that they're thinking. So I think and the over and under on LSU is 51. I bet LSU minus 31. I bet the LSU team total to be over 51. Using some of my free bets at ESPN Bet, right? The new part of the LeBears Casino and Hotel, the ESPN Bet. So I threw some coins on those 2 things already.
Yeah, you right now you get a $200 credit if you download the app and you're a new customer.
Well, it's actually 4 $50 bets, so it's not 200. You can make 4 $50 little wagers for free. It's not. You can't put 200 on LSU minus the points. So that's where it's at.
Some football games tonight. One of interest because believe it or not, it doesn't matter. It's still one of the more watched teams in the league in the country. The ratings are still great, even though Colorado finds themselves 4-5 on the season, or 4-6. Are they 4-6? 4-6 on the season. They have to win their last 2 games in order to be bowl eligible. That's probably not going to happen, but it won't happen if they don't win tonight. They take on Washington State, a team that's trending in the wrong direction. They got off to a good start. They've lost 5 or 6 in a row. Colorado finds themselves only a 4-point dog. Are they at home tonight or are they on the road?
It's in Washington State in Pullman.
So we get a chance to see. I tell you, I'm super intrigued at what the offseason is going to look like for Colorado. A lot of people are buzzing about the fact that, remember last year, Deion Sanders had 72 of their 82 players are brand new from a season ago. Obviously, the turnover won't be like that, but it's expected that he is going to shake up that portal once again. And, I'm sure a lot of players are going to be gone. A lot of players are going to come in, and Deion's not going to sugarcoat it. He's going to have those end-of-the-year meetings and say, adios.
Well, and the rumors he addressed this week on his radio show, like, would he go to Texas A&M? Would he leave? And he gave it the answer where he didn't really answer it. He said, I love Colorado. We got a plan here. My family's here. He's got a daughter on the volleyball team. He's not commuting to Boulder, Colorado from Texas where he was living before. So he kind of just glorified where he's at. But he didn't pull the line like Lanning from Oregon said, I am not leaving. I will be the coach at Oregon. I'm not going to Texas A&M. Whereas Deion wasn't quite as clear. You could read it and say, okay, he's not slamming the door on leaving, whether it's A&M or Mississippi State or whomever. So we'll see what unfolds with that. But you're right. As you said 100 times months ago, the story of the year in college football. And now they're fighting for a bowl game. I kind of actually predicted that train was going to come off the tracks after the 3-0 start, and it did. But it's still a big story. Deion's a story, and the speculation. Now, he did say that he wished teams wouldn't say that, people wouldn't say he's going to A&M, because what's happening in the recruiting world, people he's recruiting, other teams are saying, you don't want to go there. He's not going to be there. He's going to go to A&M. He's going to go to Mississippi State or wherever.
Well, if Ronnie, he wants to shut it down,
that's went on forever.
If he wants to shut it down, he just simply says, I haven't talked to A&M. I'm not going to A&M. Because the reality is that, come on, like, that's not a fit. I mean, Deion Sanders at A&M with that culture, I mean, like, no way. Like, I can't imagine those same cats that are putting up $150 million in the A&M Booster Club to get rid of Jimbo Fisher and to hire a whole and his staff and hire Deion Sanders at the midnight yell parties with a bunch of cadets wearing their rings from graduating. Like, no way. That's just zero fit whatsoever. Well, that's bizarre.
But you're right. If he wants to put an end to that recruiting stuff, he can come out and make a statement like Dan Lanning did at Oregon.
Right.
Ronnie, that stuff has went on since you were recruited. I was very lightly recruited. Schools or coaches are going to say, you don't want to go there. That coach is going to leave. That's gone on forever. So, Deion, don't act like that just started because you're at Colorado.
Yeah. No, it's mind-boggling the money. It's mind-boggling the money that they're going to make. You keep seeing these Jimbo Fisher memes and different things. I think I saw one. He makes like $8,000 and something cents when he goes to sleep at night. Like just sleeping at night.
It's $26,000 a day. $26,000 a day. So that's a little over $1,000 an hour. Like you said. So he's sleeping making money. A lot of people got to go to work to make money. He's sleeping making money. And as long as he keeps breathing, he's making money.
Tell us about Tremonti's, Tommy.
Well, yeah, it's turkey time. Fried, smoked rotisserie. They got all the side dishes, a ton of desserts to choose from, too. And, of course, everything you need from wine and all the spirits and vodka, tequila, bourbon, everything you need. Turkey time. Come in and get your order. Tremonti's Meat and Seafood. They did a catering job for me the other night at Most Blessed Sacrament School. Whipped up pasta live for 250 people. It was awesome. So check out Tremonti's. They can do a lot of things for you. Also, all you deer hunters, game processing. They will process your deer for you here at Tremonti's. They process 10, 12 of them a week. So you can bring yours here and get that done at Tremonti's Meat and Seafood here on Jefferson Highway in Baton Rouge, right down from Parkview Baptist Church and School.
All right, we'll be back on the air tomorrow morning, 10 to noon on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Check us out on the radio, and you can download the app anywhere and listen live. We'll be over at from 10 to noon over at Bruley Walk-Ons. So come have lunch with us. Doors open at 11 o'clock. Looking forward to that. And then, of course, we'll be back on Monday to talk about the weekend, and hopefully Jaden Daniels does what he's been doing and puts up another monster game. He's going to need it over the last 2 weeks just to give himself that shot when he knows he's not playing that first week of December and all the other candidates are playing. In order for him to lock up the Heisman before he doesn't play on December 2nd, he needs to have a monster game tomorrow and next Saturday against 11 a.m. So good luck to him. All right. For Tommy, I'm Ronnie. We'll be back on Sports Shorts Daily tomorrow, presented by LeBears Casino. Have a great one, everybody.